It's Kevin Keatsman Uncanceled on 95.7 FM KCMO Talk Radio.
Good morning, Kansas City. Welcome to Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio. 95.7 FM in Kansas City, 102.9 in Topeka, streaming everywhere. Hey, Alexa, play Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio. Let's do that. Glad to have you with us on this beautiful day. It's going to be clearing out as the last gasp of the storm system blows through later today, and we're going to supposedly just have a beautiful Friday tomorrow. Gorgeous day for this time of year. Cooler temperatures, low humidity. Maybe you can work your work week out to where you can cut out around noon tomorrow. How good does that sound? Let's get it done. We got a great show lined up for you today, including the most important quote yet from Donald Trump on Iran. He has said a lot of things. And he said something in an interview this morning, that I did not think I would hear from him, and I'm not sure that I voted for it. But we'll find out in time. I'll let you know what that is coming up in just a little bit. I got an email from a listener about what happened in Lee's Summit by closing out their downtown days after 40 years, and he's got a very simple solution for bringing it back. And I think he's right. I'm going to share with you in 30 minutes the writings of a 26-year-old graduate student that is the smartest thing I've read in weeks about the problem we have with young people in the United States that are beside themselves at how bad they have it. It's absolutely brilliant, and we will share it. Did you know the hero of the Knicks game last night is a local player from Jefferson City High School? That's exactly right. And there's two local players on the Knicks, not these rummy 3 Villanova guys. I'm talking about the Kansas City. The dudes from Missouri are carrying the New York Knicks. Okay, we got Missourians out there doing it. So we'll have some fun with Mark Van Sickle on that a little bit later. And I've got thoughts on what Taylor Swift wore last night. Maybe I'm the only one. She's had a good week. I don't like Taylor Swift that much. I don't. I've found her to be whiny and political and cringy. But just like Brittany Mahomes, it looks like she's growing up too. And that was pretty fun. I loved their T-shirts. Her T-shirt said Stevie Nicks, and Nicks was spelled like the New York Knicks. I just love it. I thought it was great. It was perfect for her because she's a singer, and Stevie Nicks is a goddess to most female singers. They look up to her, and it was just, I thought it was really cool. We'll get into some of that as the show goes on. But we're going to start today with something that I don't really think is going to bother a whole lot of you. Because if you listen to Pete Mundo's unbelievably great interview today with Mayor Q, you may have agreed with a lot of the things that he said. And that's okay. It's okay. Now, forget the part about where we like lower taxes and less government spending. Let's forget that's water under the bridge. The money's spent, the deal is done. Okay, got to forget that part. That's over. That's Patrick Tuohy's world, thinking he can overturn the thing and go back, and these labor people that want to do a vote. It's done. This thing's done. They're moving forward. So that happened. The government spends money every day, and I could sit here. I could do I don't know how much sleep I could get by on. If I could get by on 4 hours a day, I could do 20 hours of radio complaining about government spending money on things that we don't like them spending money on. We're all in the same boat. My point about all of this has been there are things that the government should really step up and do for any community this size of 2.5 million people and make it a better place for all of us to live, regardless of whether it's your passion or not. I don't fly nearly as much as I used to, but I love the new airport, and we needed it. Everybody hated it. They didn't like the financing. It was going to be a debacle. It was going to be horrible. Bitch and moan, bitch and moan, bitch and moan. For 3 years, that's all anybody did. It opens, and except for the stupid, silly bathrooms they got in there, everybody's like, okay, yeah, this is pretty nice. And I don't even fly that much, but I'm proud of it. I went early on. I had hopes that there would be an NBA or an NHL team at what was then Sprint Center and is now T-Mobile. I was for it. There was a tax. It was a new tax. It was a rental car tax. People were against it. Enterprise Rent-A-Car of St. Louis really hated it. There were a lot of people that hated the rental car tax. I said, well, that's mostly a tax that's not us. It's other people coming in for business and from out of town. Let's build this thing. Kemper Arena stinks. It's not good. It's been repurposed, redone, and it's perfect for what it is now. I've got no complaints about what it is now, but it was not what we needed to have all these Big 12 tournaments, all these big shows, all these events, all the development downtown, all the new apartments, all the new hotels, all the power and light, everything that's happened there. Is it perfect? No. Has the power and light been financially? It's been a fun place. People have used it. It hasn't been a great deal governmentally because it's basically broke, but it's a lot of that's federal money that came in to do that. Kansas City's a better place because we did that. It's the same thing with the new Royals ballpark. We're going to be a better city when that's built. Crown Center is going to be something you're proud of again. It's going to be awesome. And the mayor said this today, and I thought I'm listening to him, and he said all the same things I've said in my monologue the last couple of weeks, and then talking with Patrick Tuohy. They can vote on this, but it's a done deal. It's already been approved and signed off. And maybe, just maybe, it's decent leverage for the mayor right now with the Royals to get this thing done, and let's move some dirt. Let's start some demolition. Once that starts, forget about a vote. It's on. Forget it. This is stupid. It's like going back and saying, oh, we want to have a vote that doing the airport was a bad deal. Well, the airport's open. You can vote on that it was a bad deal and you want it to stop or whatever. I don't know. It's absurd. So maybe he's got decent leverage with the Royals to hurry up and get this stuff signed so they can start demolishing some stuff before November or certainly before April when the vote maybe would be on this thing, and the Royals would get in gear. These people that are wanting the vote represent labor jobs. They're literally wanting to kill labor jobs. So the mayor pointed out what I said last week in my monologue. When I heard this guy that wants these labor jobs killed, this is all just a negotiation. And Mayor Q said today, I've got a year left, dude. I am not going to be bullied by these people on this thing. And maybe this is just a negotiating ploy. We're going to listen to their concerns. They're going to be high-paying jobs. It's like everything else in America. They're so protected with safety on the job, with union jobs, with this community gets a certain number of businesses, the minority communities get hired to do these things. Everybody's covered at this point in this country. Shut up. Who isn't covered? There's going to be all kinds of minority businesses. They're going to listen to KC tenants. They're going to build low-income housing. We already had the one company from, was it California or Wichita, bought the big building right next to there that's been sitting empty. It was an office building. They're converting it into apartments. I want to say there's going to be 175 units, and a third of them are going to be low income, basically free housing. KC tenants, they're building free housing right by the new ballpark. Shut up. My God, these people are just complaining like they're professional at it. And it occurred to me listening to him today that, you know what? There's a lot of great things about being the mayor of Kansas City, Missouri, but this ain't one of them. Dealing with these groups and the stupid stuff they come up with must just be completely frustrating for Mayor Lucas. And then he pointed out, hey, you can argue that you don't like these sorts of subsidies, and there's all kinds of people that are just dead set against them. He said, that's great, that's philosophical, but this one's done. And it's a way better deal than Kansas got for the Chiefs or the Bears in Indiana or D.C. with the Redskins, or the team formerly known as the Redskins. And he's right. This is a great... John Sherman, I cannot repeat this enough. He's spending $1 billion. He could have got away with spending like $400 million. He's spending $600 or $700 million of his own money on this project because it's Crown Center, because it's Kansas City, Missouri. I don't want to call them the woke Royals. I'm not going to paint them into that right now, but we're in the middle of Pride Month, and Slugger is wearing some sort of a sport coat with Pride colors. Last night was Pride Night at the K. Like, the Royals are all in on Pride. That's not the goal of today's show. I don't want to throw the Royals under the bus. There is absolutely some sort of Kansas City, Missouri liberal pulse running through that organization, and I'm here for it. We need a nice urban core. We need these things there. Baseball belongs there. It doesn't need to be political to me, the baseball portion. If John Sherman and his team and the people surrounding this thing want Slugger running around in a Pride outfit, knock yourself out. Nobody cares anymore. Like, the feedback on this is not even outrage anymore. It's like, I'm embarrassed for the Royals. That's what I am, is I'm embarrassed, but I'm apathetic to it. It's silly. But you know what? So is all the dog nights they did. You know why they do the dog nights? We're dog people. We don't ask for dog month. We don't ask for it. And we don't really ask for dog nights at the Royals. They used to have one a year. And they capped it at 500 tickets for you and your dog. And then they sold all 500 of them. And then they said, you know what, we ought to do one of these once a month. And they do. They do like 5 dog nights now because they sell tickets. Do you know what they did for Pride Night last night? They opened the Rivals Sports Bar, which is in right field, when the gates opened, and had a big party, open house, whatever, inviting the gay community to just come have a party before a baseball game. You know how much money there is in that? Know these folks for what they are. I don't know if John Sherman's liberal. I don't know that he's not. I don't really care. I'm not even offended by the pride stuff anymore. It used to offend me. It's just so pathetic and silly and outrageously insecure is what it is. That's what it is. It's insecure. You're insecure. You're not comfortable in your own skin. If you need a month acknowledging what you are, you feel pretty crappy about yourself by and large. And I've got gay friends, and they don't like it. They don't like the pride parades. They don't like the month. They don't like all this cosplay that goes on. They don't need a special night at the Royals. They just want to live their life with the person they love. It's just catering to insecure people. So the whole thing's silly. And the mayor has to deal with all these different groups. And it came out in one glorious interview today. If you didn't hear it, you got to go to the podcast page and listen to it. It was great. And he was great. And I pretty much agree with him at every turn, except when he brought up the Kansas City Current, the soccer team. He says, now we're moving forward looking at $235 million for the Kansas City Current for a riverfront development by their stadium. We're going to expand their stadium. Did he say to 16,000 or more than 16,000? 16,000's enough for now. For now. Like, this is the glory days of the Current. They're winning. They're good. It's new. Be careful what you expand to. Most people are building smaller stadiums. The new Royal Stadium will have fewer seats than Kauffman Stadium. For sure, it will have fewer seats. Be careful. And Riverfront Development, $235 million from Kansas City, Missouri. I'm with Patrick Tuohy on this one. No, that sounds silly. How about we get the Royals project going and then see where we are? Let's not try to do too much on your way out the door. Mayor Lucas has built a new airport on his watch. They've won 3 Super Bowls on his watch. He's got a new Royals stadium coming. He got the World Cup. He's going to have a legacy. And a lot of it's going to be real things, memories, bricks and mortar where you go, yeah, that was when Quentin Lucas was mayor. He's got that. He understands that. But boy, being in the weeds with some of these crazy outfits, these labor people that are forcing a vote or KC tenants, these people, it must just suck to be mayor when that stuff comes around. I feel bad for the guy. I do. And I never feel bad for Mayor Q. But he was right today. 913-408-7957. Uncanceled is underway. If you disagree with me, I honestly want to hear from you. We're not going to get in a fight. I want you to tell me I'm wrong. I'm all here for it. I'm good with it. Call me. 408-7957. This is Uncanceled. We're back on KCMO Talk Radio. Great to have you with us today. Donald Trump did a call-in on Fox News this morning. He just dialed him up, called into the morning show, and started talking about war because this is the world we live in. You know, I remember back when I was younger and the presidents, if they made any comment on any sort of a military conflict or something, they'd be sitting at the desk, at the Resolute desk in the Oval Office, and they'd be reading off a teleprompter, and it would last about 3 minutes. It would be the most somber, serious thing you ever saw, and we would all just sit there riveted to what was going on and go, wow. And then all the media would react, and the media, of course, would look at things at least from a United States perspective, you know, and being fair, and you could tell the commentary was helpful for our troops, that we would not have casualties, that things would go well, whatever. Now it all just plays out in real time. Trump has just stripped every barrier. It's the most transparent presidency. He's probably the most transparent leader in the history of the world. I can't imagine anybody in any country at any time gave more information to the people that he served than Donald Trump in 2026. In fact, it's impossible because we're just 100 years removed from, or not even that. John Anthony was pointing out this morning, people used to go to the movies to watch the newsreel before the movie to find out what's going on in World War II. So, yes, Trump's different. And he said something off the cuff today that I thought was the most interesting part of the commentary. He's saying he's going to hit him every day. He's back to bombing Iran because they wouldn't come to the table. He's tired of the nonsense, and he wants to get the thing signed. He wants to move on. He said, and I'm hitting him on, we had 49 cruise missiles last night. We took out these targets. He's just saying it all. He says, and, it's not even really what I want to do. What I really want to do, I'm not sure the country has the stomach for it. End quote. Trump has been the one that's been criticizing all the other presidents for not doing the things that the country didn't have the stomach for. Many of us were thrilled with Trump 2.0 because we thought he's never running again. He doesn't care what the country's stomach is. He's going to do the right thing. The right thing would be to wipe out Iran, to complete regime change. That would be the right thing for America for the next 50 years, 100 years, whatever amount. That would be the right thing. The cost could be enormous. It's not worth losing lives over. I think that's where America is. We don't have the stomach for any lost lives. We're so spoiled, and I'm going to talk about this in our next segment because a brilliant young 26-year-old student has said it better than me, and I'll share that with you, about why we don't have the stomach for anything in America anymore, and we don't. So it's not that Trump isn't right. It's that, wow, if you think there's something better, I'm one of these guys, hang in there. November's a long ways away. And I know a lot of people are saying, well, the messaging and this part, and he can't be doing this. Many of these are the same people that said the midterms are lost anyway, that Republicans can't win the midterms. So what does it matter what Trump does? If the GOP can't win the midterms, if that's where you are, if that's where many Republicans are there, they're like, midterms, he can't be won. Can't be won. Well, his plan is to wrap this up, choke Cuba off financially, get that wrapped up, and then go out and campaign like it's an election year. That's his goal. And maybe he's just saying publicly America doesn't have the stomach for it because he knows that's true, and he can use that as the excuse of, okay, down the road, somebody says, well, you didn't get this, you didn't get that. You know what? The people spoke. I'm doing what the people said. And to be honest, we elect people for the most part and say, please go execute the will of the people. And right now, the will of the people is clearly to end this. So it's complicated, but I didn't think I'd hear him say it. And yet he did say it. And that was very surprising to me. All right, let's go to the phones. We've got John in Topeka joining us on KCMO Talk Radio. Hello, John. How are you?
Doing all right. Well, it's sad that a lot of people don't have the guts to do the right thing when it's called for. And as Americans, we know what the right thing is to do, but there's those who just hate America so much that they come against it with every fiber of their being. And I don't know why they don't leave. They're free to leave. They can leave at any time. But my question actually is with all these planners that plan things out like war, why didn't they arm the right guys in Iran before they started the bombing to give them the opportunity to be able to stand up against those people who have the rifles and guns?
He addressed that today. They tried to do it with the Kurds, and the Kurds wouldn't do it and couldn't get it done. There's a lot of people in that region afraid of Iran. So it's not just the citizens of Iran. There's a lot of groups, and at one point, apparently, we did send some weapons, and they fell into the wrong hands. So it's impossible to arm the Iranian people at this point.
Oh, okay. Well, I sing that part because I was listening to Pete and you this morning.
That's all right. Good call, buddy. I appreciate it.
All right, have a good one.
Hey, spread the word in Topeka, okay?
Oh, I sure have.
All right. 102.9 in Topeka is where we are each and every day. Glad to have them all on board. When we come back, an email I got about what went wrong in Lee Summit and a very simple solution for downtown days. And a young 26-year-old student writes the most brilliant thing ever about why we complain about everything. Mark, you ever start thinking about the weekend on Thursdays?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? What time?
Right when I get to work.
Right when you... That song just did it for me.
Yeah.
That sounded like something I'd be blasting in the golf cart or sitting by the pool or doing yard work out back.
It's going to be a good weekend for that.
That's a banger right there, man. Really, really good stuff. All right, so I got an email from a listener in Lee Summit after my commentary yesterday that they are feckless in Lee Summit for caving to the juveniles that took over downtown days and saying, that's it, we quit. We can't handle the children. We can't handle these kids. So since you can't handle the kids, they're shutting it down. There's got to be more to that, I said yesterday, and this was the most thoughtful email I received in response to that. It was very nice. It's from Chris in Lee's Summit. He says, Kevin, for 15 years now, Lee's Summit has been trying its best to become Prairie Village. What? True. John Anthony says true. I'm in Lee's Summit all the time. I don't feel it. I don't see it. I don't see any comparison to Prairie Village. Chris writes, go back and look at all their problems their school district has had in going woke by hiring the superintendent from the prestigious Hickman Mills district because they were afraid of being called racist. Then all the DEI training they've been doing in the schools and the city council. Well, okay, that's the government part. I'm talking about the people that live there. Then the COVID nonsense. They were all in on masks and shutting down schools. They've been desperate to be Prairie Village for a long time. Well, every entity. Overland Park is the better comp? Okay. John says Overland Park's a better comp than Prairie Village. I like that. So everybody was in on masks and shutting down schools except your humble host who didn't wear a mask, didn't get the shot, and didn't stay home. It just, there's no way. This is America. You're not going to tell me what to do. I'm sorry. They didn't pass some law that said you had to wear a mask. Now, a lot of people were forced in bad situations because their employer can enforce things like getting a shot or wearing a mask, which, by the way, we need laws to protect employees from that. We have all kinds of protections like OSHA for laborers and stuff. Who's going to protect everybody that has a job that gets threatened and says, you got to take this medicine or you're canned? My God, that's... You want to start comparing something to Nazi Germany? Oh, I can't believe we lived through that. I'm sorry, I'm off the beaten path. Chris writes, easy solution, Kevin. Require a ticket to get into downtown days. Charge $1. You can maybe make it free, but have them sign up online just like they do for the World Cup Fan Fest. You got to give up all your information, who you are, where you live, all that stuff. And we'll get you a ticket, scan your phone, and you're in, and we know who you are. Once you've been identified and you're in, nobody does this stuff. He says these gangbangers won't go through the effort to do it. That's why everything now needs a ticket, even free ones. Keep out the punks and the homeless. Chris, you're right. The other thing is people are savvy enough to know that if I've given you all my information and you've scanned it, they know I'm here. I'm easy to track. I can run, but I can't hide at that point. He's exactly right. Lee's Summit. There's something called, I'm sorry, this is for the liberal, apparently a liberal council in Lee's Summit and mayor and woke school district. If that's what we've got in Lee's Summit. This is 2026. It's been around for a while. You may have heard of it. It's called an iPhone. And every one of those punks that you can't handle in Lee's Summit, same thing for you, Worlds of Fun, or any part of our community, Chiefs Parade, anyone. If you require them to fill out a form on their iPhone to gain entry, and then you scan it, you're not going to have any trouble. He's so right. Come on, Lee's Summit. Bring those days back. Don't be stupid. This is the best thing I've read in a couple of weeks, at least. This is from a 26-year-old young woman named Alyssa Algren. She is a graduate student in Florida. She's working on a master's of business administration. So this is a smart girl who's been in our educational system for a few years because she's going for the master's and she's turning 26. She has a paper to write. What do college students do when they got to write a paper? They take their MacBook Pro, they go to the coffee shop, they order a $16 coffee drink that's practically a milkshake, and they sit down and they start working on it. Hers is titled, My Generation is Blind to the Prosperity Around Us. Alyssa writes, I'm sitting in a small coffee shop in Florida trying to think of what to write about. I scroll through my news feed on my phone looking at the latest headlines calling for policies to fix the so-called injustices of capitalism. I put my phone down and I continue to look around and ponder. I see people talking freely. They're working on their MacBooks. They're ordering food they get in an instant. I'm seeing cars go by outside, and it dawned on me. We live in the most privileged time in the most prosperous nation. We become completely blind to it. Now, I'm old. You've heard me say this. This is a 26-year-old noticing this. And this is what we need is more young people to understand this. through years and years of life, we know it's better today than it was before. We understand we have it better than the generation before us, and I'm promising you my children will have it better than me and my grandchildren. That's me. Now I'm back to her paper. Vehicles, food, technology, freedom to associate with whom we choose. These things are so ingrained in our American way of life, we don't give it a second thought. We're so well off here in the United States. Our poverty line begins 31 times above the global average. 31 times. Virtually no one in the United States is considered poor by any global standard. Not anyone. No one anywhere. Yet in a time where we can offer a product off Amazon with one click and have it at our doorstep the next day, we're unappreciative, unsatisfied, and ungrateful. Now I'll interject here. I don't know what Amazon you're ordering from. I've literally watched my wife order something from Amazon that's at my door in 2 hours. So we're even more spoiled than that. I go back to her letter. Our unappreciation is evident as the popularity of socialist policies among my generation continues to grow. Congresswoman AOC recently said to Newsweek, talking about the millennial generation, quote, an entire generation, which is now becoming one of the largest electorates in America, came of age and has never seen American prosperity. Never seen American prosperity? Let that sink in, Alyssa writes. When I first read that statement, I thought to myself, that was quite literally the most entitled and factually illiterate thing I've ever read in my 26 years on this earth. Many young people agree with her, which is entirely misguided. My generation is being indoctrinated by a mainstream narrative to actually believe that we've never seen prosperity. I know this firsthand. I went to college. Let's just say I didn't have the popular opinion there. But I digress. Why then, with all of the overwhelming evidence around us, evidence that I can even see sitting in a coffee shop, do we not view this as prosperity? We have people who are dying to get in our country. People all around the world destitute or truly impoverished. Yet we have a young generation convinced they've never seen prosperity. And as a result, we elect politicians who are dead set on taking steps towards abolishing capitalism. Why? Well, the answer is this. My generation has only seen prosperity. We have no contrast. We didn't live through a Great Depression or live through a World War or a Second World War or a Korean War, the Vietnam War. We didn't see the rise and fall of socialism and communism. We don't know what it's like to live without the internet, without cars, without smartphones. We don't have a lack of prosperity problem. We have an entitlement problem in the United States, an ungratefulness problem, and it's spreading among young people like a plague. Amen. We have a 100-day war taking place. And you ask most Americans, they think we've been at this for 17 years. And they can't believe we're still there. We're impatient, we're spoiled, we're wealthy, and we don't know it. The poorest among us walk around with $1,500 iPhones in their hands. That's not the regular world, folks. She's exactly right. And what this letter did for me was bring me to a place where they always have to move on. The left has to move on from one thing to another. They've played this game for a while, but this is their only future. The race thing's dying. They tried so hard with this kid in Frisco, Texas. They wanted him to be some kind of, martyr, that he was attacked and it was self-defense, but he, a white jury convicted a black kid. They've tried. It didn't work. Nobody's buying this crap anymore. The pride thing is dying off. We can see that. This is Pride Month. We don't feel it like we did before. People aren't as outraged as they are just laughing at it, saying whatever. If you need to self-proclaim a Pride Month for yourself, knock yourself out. If you're that insecure, go for it, whatever. You're not doing any damage to us. But this one, if you get kids in the schools at a young age and all the way through college and convince them, because their life hasn't changed much by 25. It's been the same. They don't know anything other than I got an iPhone at age 8. I went to these public schools. They told me that capitalism is bad, that there's injustice, there's inequality, that we're not growing as a nation, that all these things are happening, and nothing's really changed in my life. I'm still driving the same car I had when I was 16. I've got a couple of bills I got to pay. Maybe I went to school and I've got some loans, and you feel that's part of being young. You know what's good for almost everyone? Being young and broke. Go figure it out. Go figure it out. That's the promise of America. That's the promise of capitalism. That's the only promise we give to anyone who's an immigrant here. that we accept and we move into citizenship is you come, you do you get it right, you work and you contribute and you abide by the laws and you pay your taxes and you're welcome here. We're not doing it for you. But not this party on the left. They want illegal aliens everywhere, and we want to give them free stuff. We'll give you $2,000 a month, and some 72-year-old lady gets $1,000 a month on Social Security after working her whole life, and her husband worked his whole life, and he's dead, and she's only getting $1,000, and some 19-year-old pours across the border, gets a debit card, an iPhone, and $2,000 a month. And it doesn't make any sense. It's just what they're doing. If they can convince young people, and my kids have gone through this. My oldest is past this now. My next two are getting there. They're getting a little older, and they're like, oh, okay, they're doing better. Hey, imagine that. You get around 30, you're starting to do a little better. You make a little more money. Maybe you buy a house. You're thinking about getting married. You have a child. Life moves on. And now all of a sudden you look at things differently. But these young people that are voting are literally being taught that they will never have anything because capitalism's evil. That we're broke and you've had it bad your whole life. Nothing's improved in your life. You haven't lived long enough to improve anything for yourself. Everything you've done by age 20 typically has been given to you by your parents. You've just been feeding. You haven't gone out and fed yourself. This is just beautifully written, and she's right. That's a really smart young woman who's gone through a system and seen it, and I hope more people would see things like that. All right, one more, and then we'll break and come back with Mark. We got some fun stuff with Mark. This one's a little heavy, and I hate to drop this on you going to a break, but Kyle Busch, the NASCAR driver who died a couple of weeks ago, his widow, Samantha, put a post on Facebook or Instagram or one of those places that was very telling about the last hours of his life. And it does not describe exactly the scene in the hospital by his side at the bed. I can assume by the way she wrote this that he understood what she was telling him and that they knew they were in a dire circumstance. I don't know if he was conscious, alert, reacting. It doesn't say that. She wrote in a lengthy Instagram post on Wednesday night what she told Kyle Busch as he was dying in that hospital. Quote, I promised him that I would do everything I could to help our children pursue their dreams no matter what they are. For Brexton, their 11-year-old son, that dream is racing. It wasn't a dream Kyle chose for him. It was something they shared together. They spent countless hours talking about race cars, working together, dreaming together, and building a bond around something they both genuinely loved. Racing is what lights Brexton up, and as long as that's his dream in his heart, I will be right there beside him, cheering him every step of the way. Boy, that's heavy stuff, and it's what you do at the end of life, and that is a sad, sad story, but it sounds like racing will continue with the Busch family, and we certainly respect her thoughts and her sharing that publicly with so many millions of NASCAR fans that some of them love Kyle Busch as much now as they ever did. He was the bad guy, but you loved him. You just like to root against him sometimes. He was that guy, but this has just been a very emotional time for them. All right, we come back. Mark joins us. We're going to talk about Patrick Mahomes. Got a fat new contract, making him really, really wealthy. And did you see Seth Lugo got hit in the head by a batted ball last night, 107 miles an hour off the bat of a former teammate? We'll tell you about how Lugo's doing next on KCMO. Boy, I'm a little discombobulated today, buddy. I just knocked my glasses off trying to put my headphones on. I hit the microphone earlier today. What do we do? If we had a post-game news conference today after the show, I'd be answering a lot of questions that I'd be really... I mean, we just lost 42-0 here.
It wasn't that bad.
They hit my mic, knocked my glasses off. You didn't see me knock my glasses off, but indeed the case. Patrick Mahomes has a brand new contract. He'll be the first player to cash $500 million worth of checks. He's the first one to that number total for his career. This is a 2-year extension, and it's guaranteed another $505 million over what he's already made. Pretty good gig. He could get hit by a bus today and still collect $505 million.
It's good.
Yeah, it really is good, isn't it?
Still a good deal for the Chiefs, too, I think.
Yeah. So you know the best part of the deal, don't you? If he stays through 2033, that's 3 seasons in the new Arrowhead. Yeah.
That's right.
31, 32, 33. So right now he's under contract to play the first 3 years at the new stadium they haven't even scratched dirt on yet. Wow. Last night at Kauffman Stadium, one of the scariest things you'll ever see. If you've watched college softball, you'll notice that the pitchers wear face masks like the catchers. Major League Baseball players have avoided this for years, and I've predicted this for a long time. They will wear something eventually on their heads. They tried for a while something called a soft cap that had kind of a padding in it for their skull in case they get hit on the head with a line drive. We will get to a point where pitchers are required to do this. It will start in the minor leagues, so by the time they come to the big leagues, they're adjusted to it. It's the way they've done every other safety initiative in baseball. It will eventually happen. Lugo's pitching last night, and Brandon Nimmo of the Rangers, who used to be a teammate of Lugo's, hit a ball 107 miles an hour that hit Lugo in the forehead just under his bill. He got his head turned a little bit, so it wasn't a glancing blow, but it went as an angle. It didn't hit him straight on. That I hate to even say it. If it just hit him straight on with no resistance,
Yeah. Might have.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. It was very close to that. And Lugo wound up getting up, and Nimmo came running over from first base because it's his former teammate. He was the second person to get to Lugo to check him out to see if he was okay. Lugo was up off the ground walking around. He left the ball field smiling and waving at his former teammate saying it's okay.
Looked like he had an automatic bruise, though, right there.
Buddy, I don't care if it is at an angle or a glancing blow. 107-mile-an-hour baseball to your forehead?
It's crazy.
That was scary. I think they should require him to wear something, and I think baseball should get on this pretty quickly and start it in rookie ball, A ball, whatever. Everybody that comes up, let's grandfather them in. Let's say beginning in 2030, every new rookie player in 5 years has to pitch with this thing on. The women that wear it in softball, it's more like the old school catcher's face masks, not the helmet, the whole thing. It's just this mask over their face that has padding up over their forehead, right? I'm for it, and I know pitchers hate it. They think it looks silly. They think it can affect their pitching. I understand why they don't like it, but
sights and everything, yeah.
What if you were the spouse? What would you want your husband to do?
They don't care if they look goofy. Just be safe.
Be safe. Be safe. And this really is a very, very, very dangerous thing. You can't, just because you say, all right, let's say a batter sees 15 pitches a game, and a pitcher only sees 1 or 2 a year that buzz by his head, it doesn't make it any less threat. It just does. 107 miles an hour is absolutely insane. So I'm for that. All right, the Vince Show's coming up next. Thanks so much for listening. We've got a really great show and a big announcement coming up tomorrow on KCMO. Stay with us.